Hey, what is up you guys? My name is Calamity, and today I'm going to be doing a benchmark video on Fallout 4, and these are the settings that I'm going to be using. As you can see me and putting them in here. I'm going to be running actually 3 tests today: base, overclocked, and one that I would prefer, and the preferred one will still have the overclock. So, I'll let myself wrap up the settings, and then we can see the results. So this is the first test non-overclocked. So, for all my benchmarks, I'm going to be doing similar, well, as close as I can get results. And I'm going to be walking from that tree back in Sanctuary, down through, oh shoot, what's that city's name? Concord, and back up. So, it's a pretty simple loop. This is pretty representative for what all you'll be running across, some city and some open roads. But yeah, I was actually pretty surprised throughout this part, because if you look at the overlay in the lower left hand corner, the GPU is barely being utilized. It's that percentage in there, that is utilization. So, yeah. I was genuinely surprised, if I'm being honest. And the CPU isn't being utilized as much as I thought it would either, which shows that I was wrong in thinking that my CPU is a bottleneck. But yeah, the frame rates are pretty respectable, especially since this is a budget system. I calculated the cost of the parts recently, and it's around $500. It used to be $600 or $700 based on the values back then, but now it's this. So, I'll go ahead and do a quick jump cut, and I will be right back. So these are the results, and as I said, it actually somewhat shocked me, but it had a minimum of 30 FPS, a maximum of 64, and an average of 53. I knew this graphics card was capable of playing modern games at 1080p, but not to this extent. This was actually very playable. So, on to the overclock test it is. Okay, so this is the overclock test, and as you can see in the lower left hand corner, the clock speed is no longer 1332 megahertz. I added 68 and got it up to 1400 megahertz stable. The temperatures didn't change all that much. They were still less than 60, which in my books is a really good temperature. And sorry if you can hear all that noise in the background, my stepbrother speaking in inconsiderate twat face. But yeah, yet again, the graphics card is barely being utilized, which I find surprising again. The frame rates do increase, but not by as much as I thought. So, I'll let this run a bit longer, and yeah, I guess now I can cut to the results. Okay, these are the results. It had a minimum of 27 FPS, maximum of 63, and sorry about that last one being super small. I do not know what happened down there. That says 55. If you're wondering why none of the benchmarks so far have gotten over 60-ish, it's because Fallout 4 has a 60 frame rate cap. So, onto the preferred settings. Okay, this is the preferred test, and as you guys can see, these are the settings that I used. I basically used a high, but customized everything a little bit more so that way I could have a blend of good looks and good frame rates. All in all, I think I did a good job, and as the results will show you, I most certainly did. Yeah, but one thing that I did notice when I loaded in is that because I had the render resolutions, or render distances on everything so low, everything seemed really blurry. That's because the game wasn't rendering until I was basically right on top of the actual object that I want to see. And sorry about that little thing that just happened right there. That was just my ignorant self doing that. So yeah, if I'm ever going to use this in-game, which I most certainly am going to, I'm gonna turn up the render resolution. So if you guys were to do something like this, expect a few less FPS if you're going to turn up the render resolution like I am. So yeah, that will be all for this time, guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Sorry about that, guys. I just realized that I forgot to do the benchmarks. So it had my preferred settings had 37 minimum FPS, 63 maximum, which is because, you know, Fallout 4 has FPS locked to around 60, and an average of 57, which is really good. But again, sorry that the text down there is real small. My ignorant self must have forgot to resize the text when I was editing the graphs. So that will be all for this time, guys, and I will see you all in the next one.